Did you know that the chicken, the one on dinner plates everywhere, is actually at the center of this huge kind of hidden global industry?
Yeah, it goes way beyond just the meat itself.
Exactly. We're
Yeah,
not talking drumsticks here, but it's component parts, stuff that gets extracted and turned into totally different things.
right.
So today, we're doing a deep dive into this rapidly growing global chicken ingredient market.
Mm.
Our mission, basically, is to unpack just how big and influential chicken is as a fundamental ingredient. We'll look at its past, where it is now, and, what its future might look like for the food we eat every day.
And for this deep dive, we've got some solid source material. We're talking detailed market research, official stats.
The real number.
Exactly. Analyzing revenue data region by region, country by country, from 2021 right through the projections to 2033. It's quite a bit of data.
But it tells a story.
It really does paint a compelling picture.
So what's in it for you, our listener? Well, you're going to get a quick but thorough and honestly probably surprising look at a massive industry you maybe haven't thought much about.
Yeah, those nuggets of knowledge, as you call them.
That's it, the stuff that helps you connect the dots. Okay, let's unpack this.
Let's do it.
All right, let's kick things off with the big picture, the sheer size. In 2021, this global chicken-based ingredients market, already $1.36 billion.
Which is pretty significant to start with.
Right.
But the growth forecast is what's really remarkable here. By 2025, it's expected to hit nearly $1.9 billion.
Okay.
And then looking further out, by 2033, we're talking a whopping $3.6 billion.
Wow, okay. That's almost triple the 2021 size in just over a decade.
Exactly, almost 3 times bigger.
And that growth translates to a pretty strong compound annual growth rate, the CAGR, right?
Yeah.
But 8.41%.
That's right, 8.41%, which, for a listener means an average annual growth over 8%, sustained for more than 10 years.
That's really robust. It tells you these ingredients aren't some niche thing anymore.
No, they're becoming a cornerstone, really, of the global food supply.
So maybe clarify for us, what exactly are these chicken-based ingredients?
Good question. We're talking about quite a range, actually. Things like derived protein used in, say, supplements or processed foods.
Okay.
Then you've got concentrated broths for soups, sauces, that sort of thing. Different types of chicken fats for flavor, texture,
Right.
and also really crucial flavor enhancers. They add depth to snacks, ready meals, you name it.
So it's the stuff working behind the scenes.
Exactly. These aren't just for home cooks.
Yeah.
They're used extensively in food processing, in consumer products. They're kind of the invisible building blocks.
Okay, so we've got the global view, the
Mm.
size, the growth, but here's where it gets really interesting, I think. The regional picture.
Absolutely. When you break it down by region, that's where you see some fascinating dynamics.
So where is this growth really exploding? Which regions are leading the charge?
Well, the Asia-Pacific region definitely stands out. It's one of the fastest growing markets globally, a real dominant growth engine.
And the numbers back that up, right? We're looking at revenue going from, around $436 million in 2021
Yeah, just over that.
to a projected $1.23 billion by 2033. That's huge, driven by a TAGR over 9%.
A strong 9.026%. Yeah. And within APAC China, it remains the leader in terms of market size. Its market's forecast to more than double by 2033.
Okay, no surprise there.
But, the really exceptional story is India.
Ah, okay. How so?
India's market is projected to nearly quadruple by 2033.
Quadruple, wow.
Driven by a standout CAGR of almost 11%, that's significantly faster than many other places. It really points to rapidly changing diets and food manufacturing getting more sophisticated there.
That makes sense. What about other players in Asia-Pacific? It's a big region.
Definitely. You've got other strong contributors. Australia, for instance, projected growth near 9.6%.
Pretty high.
And Singapore showing an impressive KGR close to 9.8%. Plus, you see solid growth across Southeast Asia, Taiwan, and of course, established markets like Japan and South Korea are still contributing significantly.
So a really dynamic picture across Asia-Pacific. Let's shift gears. What about the Middle East? You mentioned emerging potential there.
Yes, the Middle East is definitely one to watch. It's emerging but expanding rapidly. We're seeing a high projected CGR there, over 9.3%.
Okay.
The market size is set to nearly triple, going from about $50 million in 2021 to almost $147.5 million by 2033.
And who's leading within the Middle East?
Well, Saudi Arabia has the largest market share currently, but the really impressive growth rate belongs to the UAE.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, the UAE is showing one of the highest CAGRs in the region,
Hmm.
over 10.25%, which suggests a very dynamic modernizing food sector.
And other contributors.
Turkey and Egypt are also significant players there.
Okay. How about South America?
South America shows consistent and solid expansion. Overall growth reflects a very respectable 8.8% CAGR. So the market's expected to grow from around $93 million to over $255 million by 2033.
And Brazil leads the way there, I assume.
Brazil is the largest market, yes, growing steadily. But what's quite interesting
Okay.
is that Argentina and Colombia show almost identical, strong growth rates, both around 9.4%.
Really? That suggests maybe similar trends driving growth across the region.
It does seem that way, yeah. Broad regional momentum.
Okay, next stop, Africa. You described it as a market on the rise.
Definitely. Africa's trajectory shows significant growth potential. It's set to grow from just under $56 million in 2021 to nearly $153 million by 2033.
And the CAGR there.
A healthy 8.59%.
And within Africa, who are the main drivers?
Nigeria and South Africa are the leaders. Nigeria is projected for strong growth in terms of volume,
Right.
but South Africa actually boasts a stronger CAGR, over 9%, so a particularly dynamic market there too.
Fascinating. Okay, let's cross the Atlantic to North America. A major player, obviously.
Absolutely. A huge market and still growing steadily. It generated almost $392 million back in 2021.
And expected to hit.
Expected to cross $978 million by 2033. The CAGR is just under 8%, 7.926%.
And the U.S. is the giant there, generating most of that.
By far. The U.S. market was over $316 million in 2021, heading towards $767 million.
But is there anything surprising in North America's growth?
Well, while the U.S. leads in size, Canada is projected to show significantly stronger growth in terms of rate.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Canada's market is forecast to basically triple by 2033, fueled by a CAGR over 9.6%. That's outpacing the U.S. rate.
Interesting. So stronger demand growth up north. What about Mexico?
Mexico shows more modest growth compared to the U.S. and Canada, around 5.6% CAGR.
Okay. And finally, Europe, another established large market.
Exactly. Established, but still expanding significantly. It was valued at over $337 million in 2021.
Projected to reach.
Projected to hit more than $830 million by 2033, with a CAGR of about 7.8%.
Germany leads in Europe, right? Steady growth there.
That's correct. Germany holds the top spot, continuing its steady growth path.
But are there any European countries showing maybe more aggressive expansion, like we saw with India or the UAE?
Absolutely. We see some really impressive growth rates. Spain, for instance, has an 8.7% CAGR projected.
Strong?
Russia is even higher, over 8.8%. Italy's strong, too, over 8.3%.
So pretty widespread growth then.
It is. It highlights this diverse but consistently expanding demand right across the continent. France also shows significant growth, nearly 8% CAGR,
Yep.
projected to grow substantially. And the UK shows steady increases as well. It all adds up to a robust European market.
So we've gone around the world, looked at the numbers, the growth, the regional hotspots. It's a lot to take in. But let's synthesize this. What does this all mean for the listener, for the global food landscape?
Yeah, that's the key question, isn't it? And what's fascinating is how these numbers point to some clear driving forces.
Like what?
Well, firstly, there's this consistent growing consumer demand for protein. People want protein-rich foods, and they're also looking more for natural ingredients.
Health consciousness, maybe?
Reading those-
Labels more?
Exactly, seeking transparent labels, wholesome components, and that pushes manufacturers to use these versatile chicken ingredients.
Okay, so consumer demand is one. What else?
Secondly, technology. Food processing tech is evolving really fast.
How so?
We're seeing innovations in, say, extraction techniques that give you purer proteins, or flavor encapsulation tech that makes tastes more intense, more stable.
So it expands what you can do with these ingredients.
Precisely. It opens up new product possibilities, entirely new categories even.
So it's not just about what consumers want, but also what companies can now deliver technologically. Makes sense.
Right. And the third major factor is the expanding food service industry globally.
Restaurants, catering, ready meals.
All of it. As more people eat out or grab convenient ready meals or use meal kits, the demand for ingredients that offer consistency, cost-effectiveness, and versatile flavor just skyrockets.
Because these chicken ingredients provide that baseline for so many dishes.
Exactly. They're workhorses for restaurants, cafes, mass food production.
So it really paints this picture of robust opportunities for manufacturers, processors, suppliers right across the food chain.
Definitely. Driven by that combination of innovation and shifting consumer tastes.
Okay, so let's quickly recap then.
Yeah.
Our deep dive today showed this global chicken ingredient market isn't just growing, it's really flourishing pretty much everywhere.
That's the takeaway. And it's clearly driven by those big shifts.
Right.
People wanting more protein, more natural stuff.
Combined with the tech advancements and the boom in food service.
Right. And what's so interesting, I think, is how looking at a seemingly niche market like this actually tells you so much about bigger trends.
Like global economics, how we eat.
Exactly. Food consumption patterns, those complex supply chains. It shows how something familiar, like chicken, gets transformed into this, well, industrial powerhouse of ingredients.
It really does. So maybe final thought for our listener to chew on.
Go for it.
Next time you pick up a processed food, maybe soup, maybe even just a snack with flavor enhancer listed, pause for a second. Think about that complex global supply chain that got those chicken-based ingredients onto your plate. And maybe wondered, how is this growing demand for these specific parts of the chicken shaping farming?
Good question.
Or driving new food innovations we haven't even seen yet, or even influencing the whole future of protein sources worldwide.
Lots to think about there.
There really is. It shows there's often a hidden world behind the food we eat every day. Hopefully this dive gave you some insight into that world. Welcome back, everyone, to the deep dive. Today, we're jumping into a market that might seem a bit specific at first. Chicken-based ingredients, but trust me, it's actually huge. It's quietly shaping so much our food, health trends, even, how we feed our pets. It's not just about chicken dinners anymore. It's this really fast-growing area, super important for nutrition, food science, all that stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And our goal today really is to cut through the noise. We want to pull out the key things, the forces really driving this market, give you that kind of insider shortcut to understanding what's happening.
Okay, let's dive in then. When we talk about what's fueling this growth, what's really making chicken ingredients so, well, essential right now, beyond the obvious stuff?
That's a great starting point. Because, yeah, everyone knows protein's big, but what's fascinating is how chicken, specifically, has carved out this niche. People want high-protein diets for fitness, feeling full, just general wellness, and chicken. It hits this sweet spot. It's cost-effective, which is huge for production, but it's also incredibly versatile, so you see it everywhere. Not just meals, but like in ready meals, those protein bars, supplements, even high-end pet food relies heavily on it.
Right, so it's tapping into that whole lifestyle thing, not just being a simple food item.
Precisely. And tied right into that is the boom in processed and packaged foods. Our lifestyles are faster, right?
Yeah.
So demand for ready-to-eat convenient options has just exploded. And this is where ingredients like powdered chicken or those savory broths, hydrolyzed proteins, they become critical for food manufacturers. It's not just flavor. They add shelf life, improve texture, and this is key. They help achieve that clean label look people want. Familiar, functional.
Okay, makes sense. And you mentioned pets earlier.
Yeah.
That feels like a whole separate massive driver, too.
Oh, absolutely. You can't overlook pet food. It's huge. This whole pet humanization trend, it's real. People treat pets like family, which means they want premium, natural, sometimes even human-grade food for them. And chicken ingredients, meals, protein concentrates, they're perfect. Highly digestible, palatable, so they're fundamental for those high-protein, healthy pet foods that owners are increasingly willing to pay more for.
It definitely sounds like it's riding several big waves: lifestyle, convenience, even how we view pets. But okay, here's where it gets interesting. It's not all just straightforward growth, right? What are the roadblocks, the challenges?
You're right, no market grows without hurdles, and this one has some significant ones. A major one is just the fluctuation in poultry supply and pricing. The whole supply chain can be really volatile. You get things like avian flu outbreaks wiping out flocks, or maybe feed costs suddenly shoot up, or there are logistics snags. All that creates instability, not just in the price of raw chicken, but even getting consistent supply. For big manufacturers, that lack of predictability can be almost worse than the cost itself.
Wow. Yeah, I can see how that makes planning difficult, a constant juggle. And thinking back to the diet trends, I guess the rise of plant-based foods must be putting pressure on this market too.
Definitely. That's a major competitive pressure point, no question. Plant-based is booming. You have consumers focused on environment, health. They're opting out of animal products more often. So plant proteins are directly competing, showing up in places where chicken ingredients used to dominate. It's really like a wake-up call for the chicken ingredient industry. They have to innovate, really highlight the unique benefits. Maybe it's the amino acid profile, digestibility, specific functional aspects that plant proteins might struggle with.
So they have to almost resell the benefits of chicken in a new context.
Yeah.
That's interesting. And dealing with global markets,
Mm.
that always adds layers of complexity, doesn't it?
It sure does. Regulatory hurdles internationally are a big one. Different countries, different rules. Labeling, sourcing requirements, health certifications, traceability. It can get incredibly complex. This doesn't just add cost for compliance, it can genuinely slow down launching new products in different regions. It can create barriers to expanding across borders, sometimes even forcing companies to make different versions of a product for different markets. Fragmented strategies.
Okay, so supply chain issues, plant-based competition, regulatory mazes, quite a few challenges. But despite all that, you hear about a lot of innovation happening. What's on the cutting edge? What trends are really reshaping things?
Yeah, despite the headwinds, the innovation is pretty impressive, actually. First off, there's this huge push for clean label A&D functional ingredients. It's not enough for it to be just chicken anymore. Consumers want transparency, minimal processing, but they also want added benefits. So manufacturers are developing chicken ingredients without artificial stuff, no preservatives, but that might also offer, say, immune support or energy benefits. This is massive, particularly in functional foods and supplements.
Right, that clean and functional combo. I've definitely noticed things like collagen and bone broth everywhere lately. Is that part of this?
Absolutely. That's a perfect example of the expansion into nutraceuticals and supplements. It's a major shift. We're talking hydrolyzed chicken collagen, specific peptide powders, bone broth concentrates. These are going mainstream in health and wellness. And their uses are surprisingly broad: joint health, skin benefits, simple protein enrichment. You find them in gummies, specialized drink mixes. It's way beyond just being a soup base now.
That is a huge leap. So what tech is making that possible? How do you get chicken collagen into a gummy bear effectively?
Yeah, it comes down to technological innovation and processing. That's the enabler. Advanced techniques like enzymatic hydrolysis that lets you break down proteins into very specific targeted peptides with unique functions. Then you have things like spray drying, freeze drying. These aren't just about making powder. They're about improving solubility, shelf life, preserving the functional properties of these delicate compounds. These advancements are opening up entirely new uses. Think clear protein beverages, high-quality instant soups, even clinical nutrition products where things have to dissolve well and be easily absorbed. It's really changing the game.
That's fascinating. So bringing it all together,
Yeah.
what does this mean for, us, the people buying the pet food, the quick meals, maybe thinking about supplements?
Well, I think what's really happening is this market is growing up. It's becoming this sophisticated ecosystem. It's where nutrition science, consumer demands, and manufacturing tech all meet. And the players who succeed, they're the ones who can balance it all. Meet the protein demand, deliver on clean label, navigate the regulations, and use the latest processing tech. Those who can juggle all that are really well set for success here.
That paints such a clear picture of a really complex, dynamic space.
Yeah.
It's definitely more than just chicken. So maybe a final thought for everyone listening. Given all these advancements, these shifts in what we want, how else could chicken ingredients change things? Could they show up in even more unexpected places? Personalized nutrition, maybe, or something totally different. Definitely something to keep an eye on as you're out there shopping or reading labels. Thanks so much for joining us on this deep dive.